Miss Sapp, we are now live streaming.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. The purpose of today's meeting is to review an objection to the book titled The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. School-based and district staff, as well as parent and community volunteers, are invited to participate on each committee. Today's meeting will result in a recommendation that will be forwarded to Mr. Forson, St. Johns County School District Superintendent. This committee meeting is public record and therefore subject to sunshine law. It is being live streamed for public viewing. Committee members are not required to have their camera on during the meeting. We are committed to civility and decorum. Please assist us in maintaining a constructive meeting environment by remaining respectful of each participant during the meeting and afterwards. Additional discussion of the objecting party or committee members outside of the meeting is discouraged. Disparaging comments are contrary to district expectations regarding character and civility. Committee members have received several resources in advance of the meeting. The resources included the objecting party's request for reconsideration, a copy of the book, Florida statutes, Florida Department of Education guidance for library media services, professional source reviews, St. Johns County School Board rules, the Library Bill of Rights, and a school library media material evaluation checklist. I am Dawn Sapp, Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and I will be facilitating today's committee meeting. The process for today is as follows. First, the objecting party will have the opportunity to address the committee. They will provide any information they deem compelling or new regarding their request. Next, the committee will have a discussion utilizing the school library media material evaluation checklist. Finally, the committee will determine a recommendation for Superintendent Forson. There are two options: retain the book for a designated level or remove the book from all St. Johns County School District libraries. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. Are there any questions? Okay. Let us begin. Jean Moore is the objecting party for the Lovely Bones. Ms. Moore, this is your time to address the committee. You have up to 5 minutes to share your objection.
Good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to share my thoughts. Florida law, House Bill 1069, says that books in school libraries cannot have content that violates the obscenity laws, Florida statutes 847.001, 16, and 19, that depicts actual or simulated sexual intercourse, deviant sexual intercourse, sexual bestiality, masturbation, sadomasochistic abuse, actual lewd exhibition of the genitals, actual physical contact with a person's clothed or unclothed genitals, pubic area, buttocks, or if such a person is a female, the breast with the intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of either party, or any act or conduct which can constitute sexual battery or simulates that sexual battery is being or will be committed. Sexual battery will be committed. This is an example text. He balled up the hat my mother had made me, smashing it into my mouth. The only sound I made after that was the weak tinkling of bells. As he kissed his wet lips down my face and neck and began to shove his hands up my shirt, I wept. I began to leave my body. I began to inhabit the air and the silence. I wept and I struggled so I would not feel. He ripped open my pants, not having found the invisible zipper my mother had artfully sewn into the side. Big white panties, he said. I felt huge and bloated. I felt like a sea in which he stood and pissed and shat. I felt the corners of my body turning in on themselves like in a cat's cradle, which I played with Lindsay just to make her happy. He started working himself over me. Physical contact with a person's clothed or unclothed genitals, or if such a person is a female, the breast. Example texts. Their breath began to heat the small space beneath the boat, and he could not stop it. His penis stiffened inside his jeans. Lindsay reached her hand out. I'm sorry, he began. I'm ready, my sister said. She took his hand and placed it on her breast. I dragged his pubic hair out straight between my fingers. I held that part of him that Mr. Harvey had forced inside of me. Does everything have to be explicit or even inexplicit sex? When we were talking about providing books to school-age children, the line should be clear. Our culture has made it out that this sort of imagery is normal or even suitable for children. We have over-sexualized almost everything that goes in front of our kids: books, movies, TV, music. School should be a safe ground for kids where there is no risk of exposure to sexualized content of any kind. Also not allowed is sadomasochistic abuse. An example text: a young girl being led through the streets. She was taken to a pyre where she was wound in a sheet and placed up on a platform built from sticks. The bright fire that consumed her brought my mother into that deep, light, dreamlike bliss. This girl was being burned alive, but first there had been her body, clean and whole. This was a weird dream the mother was having. What an unsettling mental picture drawn out by that text. I'll end with a quote from Brooke Stevens, the creator of ratedbooks.org. The intent of book bans in the last century was to erase cultures. Tyrants burned books because they were a source of cultural identity. In this age of information, book banning is nearly impossible, yet the term is thrown about as if it were true. The term book ban is an emotional trigger to derail the public and keep them from realizing that people can be controlled by giving them information that destroys their cultural identity. Children are being given books that shatter their morality and mental health, cause addictions, and create an appetite for sex and violence. The reality is that our morality that is being banned. Parents standing to protect childhood innocence understand that it is our children that are being burned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. Committee members, we will now begin our discussion utilizing the school library media materials evaluation checklist. Just a few reminders before we get started. Florida statute states that any materials used in a classroom, made available in a school or classroom library, or included on a reading list may be objected to for 4 specific reasons. The first reason is if the material is considered is found to be pornographic or prohibited under section 847.012 of Florida statute. If this is the case, the material must be removed. So if the majority of our committee finds that the material is pornographic or prohibited under section 847.012, we will know that we need to remove the material from our libraries. There are 3 additional reasons. The material depicts or describes sexual conduct as defined in 847.001(19). The material is not suited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material, or the material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used. If the committee finds that one of those reasons to be the case, then the committee has to determine, is there an appropriate grade level for the material? From Library Media Services, can you tell us where is this material currently available in our schools?
This material is currently housed in the high school libraries in St. Johns County.
Okay, so just for context, the Lovely Bones is currently available to students in grades 9 through 12. Okay, keep in mind that our final task on this form is to make a recommendation to Superintendent Forson, and there are 2 options. We can retain the book for a designated level or remove it from all St. Johns County School District libraries. Again, statute is clear. We must remove the title if there is a violation of question number 4. The floor will be open to discussion, and each committee member will have the opportunity to share. Just all you have to do is indicate with the reaction tool of a raised hand, and you will have the opportunity to speak. Comments will be summarized to provide an overall committee response for each question. Please remember to raise your hand if you want to provide a comment. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome. Let's begin. Okay, so now we're going to go through the school library media material evaluation checklist. For question number 1, the objecting party's challenge of the material cites that, and we will refer directly back to the reconsideration form that was filled in by Ms. Moore, and she indicated that there are sensitive material, sensitive Sensitive materials in this document include mild profanity, alternate sexualities, sexual activities, including sexual assault. So we'll make sure that we place that onto the form. So for question number 2, specific pages in the material cited by the objecting party were reviewed. This question is just because we do send this on to Mr. Forson, this kind of confirms for him that the committee did review all the materials. So if you did review the materials that were cited by the objecting party, you would vote yes. If you did not have the opportunity to review the materials, you would vote no. Please vote at this time for question number 2.
Miss Sapp, can you hold for 1 minute? I think someone's having technical difficulty. And so they're calling in to the office, so I'm going to try and help them.
Okay, sure
Okay.
thing.
All right, so hold tight 1 second. If everyone will just leave their vote there for a minute. Okay, it looks like we have everyone here now and voted, and I tallied the votes. It is 8 yes votes, Miss Sapp.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to question number 3. Similar to question number 2, this is to verify whether or not you had the opportunity to
Miss
review
Sapp,
Yes.
sorry. We just need everyone to remove their vote so we can make sure that we have a fresh vote. There we go. I think we're
Okay.
good now.
So for question number 3, when you vote for this one, you'll be verifying if you had the opportunity to review the professional and/or crowdsource reviews. So if you did review the professional and/or crowdsource reviews, please vote yes. If you did not, vote no. Please vote now.
Okay. The tally is 8 yes votes. It does appear you may remove your vote at this time. We do have it looks like we might have a hand raised. But we do have someone that is still having some technical difficulty. We're going to ask them to leave and come back in to see if they're able to hear us better.
Okay, sounds good.
But Nancy does have her hand up.
Okay, Nancy, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to clarify, you guys sent out a lot of really useful information. And there's a book looks document, and that is something that was not from the district. Was that something that was from the complainant? That was not one of the reviews that you all sent, that was professionally sourced, and is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, because it was just a little confusing with all the different things that came out. I just want to make sure.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Ms. Sapp, if we want to hold 1 second. Can you hear me? Okay, I think our technical difficulty is fixed, so we're good to go. I got the vote for the last one, so I think we're good to go. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you for keeping us on track. Okay, we are now looking at question number 4. Is the material pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012? You believe it is not pornographic or prohibited, you would vote yes. You believe it is not, you will vote no.
Ms. Sapp, we have 4 yes votes and 4 no votes.
Okay,
for
go ahead,
questions.
Ms. Trey.
Hi, I just wanted to explain my answer. I think with this one, you really have to dig into the statute. And part of the reason why I chose no was that I don't feel like this work meets the definition of obscene and harmful as it's laid out in the statute. And taken as a whole, I think the Lovely Bones has literary and artistic value for minors. So that's why I voted the way I did.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to explain and clarify my vote as well, because the 847.012, it has to meet all three requirements to be considered harmful to minors. And I would not say that it is predominantly appeal to a prurient, shameful, or morbid interest. Like this story has a much more, like that is not this whole story at all. Like it's a very, the story talks about, family relationships and dealing with death and a lot of other things that teens go through. It's not like a predominantly appeal to those prurient, shameful, and morbid interests. And then also to second the Nancy's comment about like taken as a whole, the material is not without serious literary, artistic, political for minors. So while it might be patently offensive to the prevailing standards in the adult community as a whole, it doesn't meet those other two criteria to be considered harmful to minors, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone from the opposing view that would like to make a comment? I will share as the facilitator. Oh, Kelly, go ahead.
If you still have your vote on, you may remove your vote at this time. I don't see any other hands up yet, Ms. Sapp.
Okay, I was just going to share that if we have a majority of the committee, we would stop at this point. At this point, we have a 4-4, and so we don't really have a majority. So we will move forward. As the facilitator, when we get to the end, hopefully we can land one way or the other on our recommendation to the superintendent. But if it is a 4-4, then I will take that forward as well. But hoping that as we work our way through, we will continue because we did not have a majority. Any other comments before we continue? Okay, Nancy?
I just like to take it one step further. I feel really strongly that this book is a cautionary tale. So in addition to not being harmful, as somebody with 3 kids in our schools, I actually find a lot of helpful value in this book. So to me, it's beyond just not being harmful. I think it's helpful.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. So we had that number 4 is 4 yeses and 4 nos. Okay, let's look at question number 5. Does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida Statute 847.001 paren 19? I believe if it does depict or describe sexual conduct per that definition in statute, you will vote yes. I believe it does not, you'll vote no.
We're just waiting for 2 more votes, Ms. Sapp.
Okay.
Okay, we have 5 yes votes and 3 no votes for question number 5. You may remove your vote at this time.
Okay, thank you. Question number 6, is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented? And we will continue to use our frame as reference as students from grades 9 through 12. Is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented. Please vote at this time.
Okay, Ms. Zapp, we have 1 yes vote and 7 no votes for question 6. You may remove your vote at this time.
Okay, question number 7. Oh, hold on a second.
We need 1 more vote. Please remove your vote at this time. Thank you.
Okay, question number 7. Is the material inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which this material is used? Is the material inappropriate for grades 9 and up, which is the group for which this material is used? Vote at this time.
We're just waiting for 1 more vote.
So I would vote for 11th and 12th grade only.
Okay, so you would say no for the group it's used for right now. Correct? Yeah, okay.
All right. Okay, let me I'm gonna tally these votes real quick. I think we had a change there, so I want to make sure I capture it correctly. All right, Ms. Sapp, we have 2 yes votes and 5 no votes for question 7. And we do have 1 hand raised. If I can have everyone remove their vote at this time. And Nancy, you can go ahead.
I just wanted to toss out there that Pinellas County School District in Florida just went through this committee review process for the Lovely Bones specifically at the end of 2023 and unanimously agreed to keep the Lovely Bones in middle school and high school. So I just think it's interesting that there's a precedent in Florida going through this consideration process and looking at the statute of keeping it in another district.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay. So that concludes the checklist questions. And now as a committee, we need to determine our recommendation for Mr. Forson. So is there someone who would like to make a recommendation on the level that they'd like us to start with, and then we can vote, and then we need to, we can vote again. Okay, I'll go ahead and just throw out, it's currently available for grades 9 and up. So let's just take a vote. If you agree that it is appropriate for grades 9 and up, you would vote yes. If you don't agree for grades 9 and up, you would vote no.
Ms. Sapp, for the recommendation of grades 9 and up, we have 7 yes votes and 1 no vote.
Okay, so the majority of the committee has voted that the material is appropriate for grades 9 and up. That will be our recommendation to Mr. Forson. This is the last chance for any comments that would be included with our recommendation.
Also, you may remove your vote at this time. They did good. They kept their vote up.
Okay, well, thank you very much to our committee members for your participation today. There are two final action steps to conclude your work. The first step is your acknowledgement as a participant on the committee is needed on the recommendation. The recommendation, which includes the notes from today's discussion, will be emailed to you. You may acknowledge participation by responding with an email, or you may review and sign the document in person at our Media Services office at 10 Hildreth in St. Augustine. We ask that you please try to make sure that that is completed no later than the end of this week, which would be February 16th, I believe. So if everyone can please just try to make sure that you've either responded to the email or you've stopped by Media Services to sign in person by Friday the 16th. The second step we need to do is to return your book and any notes from your work in preparation for this meeting to the location where you picked up your book. And again, we ask if you could please try to make that happen no later than the end of this week. Are there any questions before we close the meeting? This concludes the meeting. Thank you.